Lines of mourners as far as the eye could see. Firefighters, police officers, and citizens poured into Webster Strader High School, all to honor firefighters Mike Ciparini and Tomas Kachelka.
When we heard Christmas Eve morning what happened up here and how much of a tragedy that was, our hearts fell to the floor. And we wanted to come up here in the worst way and make sure that they knew that we did not forget what they did for us. And we will never forget what they did for their own community as well.
William Madden is the assistant chief of the Oceanside Fire Department. Members of the West Webster Fire Department, including Mike Ciparini, went downstate to help during Hurricane Sandy.
I was heartbroken, I was saddened, and I was upset that we weren't closer to get there faster to help these men and women.
First responders are told to expect the unexpected, but the Lake Road shooting is something most say they will never understand.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. These poor guys going in there to try to help, and something like this happens. It's just hard to take.
It's pretty sad. These guys were doing their job, exactly what they're trained to do, and it's something that's hard to prepare for.
The long lines of support did not surprise the first responders. Many depend on the brotherhood in tough times.
We're all one. We're all one together, and when something like this happens, we try our best to try to show support for the families.
And we will always pay respects to any brother or sister who does that kind of job for their towns and their homes and their families.
The ultimate respect shown to a man who made the ultimate sacrifice. Lieutenant Michael Ciparini rode on a fire truck to Webster Strader High School, escorted by 4 members of his department. Thousands of first responders saluted as his casket arrived through a sea of American flags. Lieutenant Ciparini was honored by the reading of the firemen and the policemen's prayer.
And if according to your will, I have to lose my life, please bless with your protecting hand my friends and my family.
Ciparini, affectionately called Chip by many, was loved by the community. He embodied the definition of service, and when it came time to say goodbye, those who are usually stoic broke down in tears.
So, my remarks come to a close. Lieutenant Michael Ciparini, Car 941, you are 10-7. Your work is done here. Rest in peace, my friend. God bless the Ciparini family. God bless Webster. God bless the United States of America.
Lieutenant Ciparini guided students interested in exploring careers in firefighting and law enforcement, like fallen firefighter Tomas Kachelka, and he served as a mentor to many.
I will do everything in my power to attempt to carry on where you left off, being there for future chiefs, firefighters, and explorers, and can only hope that someday I am able to mean as much to others as you have meant to each of us.
After the service, Lieutenant Ciparini's family was presented colors, and he was honored with a 21-gun salute and sent to his final resting place with the hymn Amazing Grace and the ringing of the bell, signifying a job well done. Lieutenant Ciparini's son, who is also a firefighter, joined his wife as she spoke about him at today's service. Along with the thousands of first responders, Lieutenant Governor Bob Duffy and County Executive Maggie Brooks also attended the service. Vanessa Herring, News 8.
Today's walk was another step forward for a town in mourning. Since the tragedy, people from all over the country have been showing their support, and today was no different.
It makes you feel proud. Proud to be a Rochesterian, proud to be among the group like this that people support, and the crowd that's here, it shows you that people care.
Hearts were heavy at Grease Ridge Mall, but people held their heads high as they walked and paid tribute to the firefighters who were killed and injured on Christmas Eve. Operation Patriot led the way.
When this happened, I was full of emotion. I really can't explain how I felt. And then watching the events unfold and the funerals and the services, it was tear-jerking. And it was important for us to respond.
The community agreed. Hundreds came together to show their support for the West Webster Volunteer Firemen's Association.
Hopefully they get past this and know that everybody is still here for them and we still care.
It's extremely difficult. It's such a senseless crime, and to make sense of it, you can't wrap your head around it. And it's just so emotional. You know, it was really hard for me to not cry with, seeing all the people here and, showing respect and honor to great men and women.
West Webster firefighters were among the walkers. Phil Vanderlee says the department is overwhelmed by the community's generosity. It's that generosity that is helping the firefighters cope.
It is tough for all of us, and we're all going through a lot right now. We all have a lot of different emotions about everything, and it's really hard to put anything right into words right now about that.
The firemen have always been important in this area. We've had volunteers for years and years, so when something like this happens, it touches everybody.
All money raised at the event today will be donated to the West Webster Volunteer Firemen's Association. Ashley Zolka, News 8.
It's the sounds of the seasons. Kindergarten style. You can spot Mrs. Wolf's class in the reindeer ears. In the middle is Hassan Armstrong. He's 5, but Hassan is missing his biggest fans.
What were you thinking about, Hassan?
My dad.
His mom told him she had to work, his military dad in Kuwait, until his teacher comes forward.
Sweetie, I have a surprise for you. Mom is here. Mom, where are you? Look who's here.
Through the hugs and tears, Hassan learns it gets even better.
Guess who else is here? Your dad.
Corporal Haven Armstrong spent a year in Kuwait with the New York Army National Guard. He returned today.
I was just so excited to see him. Everything else was just out of my head.
It was definitely a surprise for Hassan, who's still completely in shock, I think.
Armstrong.
And he's tall, he's big.
Has missed a lot this past year.
The kids have mixed emotions when we go on deployments. Deployments aren't only hard on the soldiers, it goes hard on the families.
Hassan is speechless.
When you saw your dad walk through those doors, what did you think?
Armstrong gets a standing ovation.
Words don't explain it. You don't see the type of love until you come back home, really. And it's overwhelming.
The 5-year-old's Christmas wish to spend time wrestling with Dad.
Skype is one thing, but to see him in person is, it's just you have a plan when you come home, and that's what you want to do.
Corporal Armstrong actually went to school here as a kid, and this appears to be the first military surprise here at Jackson Elementary. Caroline Tucker, News 8.
It's been less than 1 month since the Newtown shooting, and less than 2 weeks since the tragedy that rocked the town of Webster. Yet thousands of people packed Rochester Tech Park today. The reason? The original gun show.
If we didn't have a gun show today, it would be a play up to the guy that committed the crime. It would make him have what he wanted to have. And this way here it goes on, and it shows him no recognition.
Some say guns aren't the issue, that violence will still exist with or without them.
A lot of people don't realize there's more people killed with clubs and hammers in this country than are shot. All right, but you never hear that.
Justin Parkhurst took his 8-year-old son to his first gun show today. He says the timing of the show is appropriate. Because of the recent shootings, he believes the right to keep and bear arms is more important now than ever.
I don't think it's insensitive at all. I mean, I feel horrible for the families and for the dead, obviously, but it's a right to carry a weapon that makes us American, you know, and we have to embrace it, and it's because of people like that that I feel safer owning one.
Justin isn't alone. He says supplies are flying off the shelves at local gun shops, and that the large crowd today could mean many gun owners are preparing for new legislation at the federal and state level.
I think everybody's a little nervous that they're taking away our rights, and, you know, so we're here to stockpile probably.
Some hope the changes will come sooner rather than later.
I'm not in favor of handguns at all. I think a handgun has one object. You don't hunt deer with handguns. You kill people with handguns.
I think we should keep regulations on the guns. I think we just do a fair hearing of it, and we should have some strong regulations about guns.
For many of these New York National Guard soldiers, this was their first deployment overseas. Coming home for the holidays means everything. When the bus rolls in and the gate goes up, it's hard for families to just sit and wait. Husbands and wives run and kiss each other. Moms wrap their arms around their sons.
It means I get to see my little girl and spend time with the family.
You miss them, you worry. I'm a mom. And it's hard. It's really hard.
Just before 3 this morning, these Army National Guard soldiers returned to the New York Armory in Rochester. They landed in Syracuse hours before and took a bus ride to get home. These soldiers were responsible for logistics, security missions, and administrative duties in Kuwait. After a tough year overseas, coming home for Christmas has special meaning.
It's the best Christmas I've had so far. Glad to see all the guys home safe, and I hope everyone that's over there comes home safe soon.
It means a lot to me and all the guys, especially that all the people from our commanders to Camp Shelby to all the support personnel worked really hard to get as many guys out for the holidays as they could.
More soldiers are expected to arrive home throughout the holidays. In Rochester, Caroline Tucker, News 8.